Hello and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we go over the movie Starship Troopers 1 minute at a time. I'm your host, Matthew.
And I'm your other host, Johann.
And once again, joining us for the last minute this week is John, Robert, and Crystal Beth of the Fifth Eleminute and Unlimited Lives Radio.
Yay!
Woo!
We survived.
We made it.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you again for coming and spending this whole entire week with us. It was really nice to have you guys.
Yeah, this is great. We're so happy to be a part of this.
It's been really fun.
We love this movie.
Yes, it's a great movie. I mean, I know we get along so well because you and I play Dungeons and Dragons, you guys.
That's right.
So it's not like kind of far that we wouldn't get along, but you guys haven't really talked to Johann too much. And I was hoping that we'd all still be friends after this.
I would hope so.
Sorry if I ruined anything. I mean, geez, what the hell, man?
Yeah. So far,
I hope we're still friends because Johann is involved.
I wasn't going to say anything, but Johann has just been tanking this entire week.
I know. He has just been horrible.
I didn't want to say it, but I was like, at the end of this week, I think I like Johann more than both of you.
All right. That's what I was actually hoping for.
Oh, man.
It's like that scene in Chasing Amy at the like, and God forbid that I like Johann, and I hope I don't see anything in him. It's like
totally not what I meant, but holy crap, this is great. Oh, gosh.
I love it.
But guys, we're at minute 71. This minute begins with Rico in green liquid and ends with a small fleet heading out.
No, actually, it starts with a nipple in green liquid.
Okay.
Oh, don't forget the nipple.
Yep.
The nipple.
Then pans down to, looks like Euro trunks. Which are,
Yes, they are.
well, that's definitely a Verhoeven influence, I would think.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. I mean, he probably could have asked Casper to be naked in the scene. And, it wouldn't have been weird, I don't think.
Yep.
But I don't think you're going to get full frontal at all.
Nope. And we see the device that keeps him suspended. It looks like it's this invisible belt thing.
Yeah, it's like a chair. There's a bit of it underneath his butt, and there was a few over his shoulders as well, keeping him down. So this is like a neutrally buoyant tank.
Yeah. But it's just so he's not floating around while he's in there. I think that belt's just to keep him from drifting upwards.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually at 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 15 seconds. It also looks like he has little clamps around his feet, around his ankles as well, too, to keep him down.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys think that he's asleep because he's under anesthetic or because he's just bored?
I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Okay.
I think they inject boredom into his mind, and that's how he falls asleep while he's in the while he's getting the giant hole sewn up in his leg. That's insane.
I think this would qualify as a gash.
That's a hole.
It's.
I
don't think
it
it's
qualifies as a vagina.
It looks like a vagina.
It's not quite an axe wound. All right. So. We can think of many different terms that mean vagina.
I really think it's really interesting, though, the way that the robot is moving, because there's been so many movies where I was like, the wound will knit.
The
like
Fifth Element.
Yeah, like that. Like people
I love that scene.
My wound will knit. So, and the robot that's fixing his gash is doing like a knitting motion up and down the wound, and as it moves up and down the wound, the wound is kind of slowly coming together. So
Just
it's
like the bones in the Fifth Element.
Vuvuzela and
crossover.
But it looks. I believe this. I believe this technology. And like the Bacta helps, Bacta quote unquote, that he's in. But this knitting robot is really what kind of makes his body whole again.
Yeah. I just like his shorts. I wish John had that in bathing suits.
Crystal's,
I had those in bathing
Crystal's
suits.
trying to get me to wear more tighter bathing suits.
You go to the gay beach all the time. They'd love it.
Yeah, we go to the gay beach in New York City
It's
because
the best one. There's no
the
kids.
the only reason why we go because there's no kids there. Only because we like kids, but when we're at the beach, We like sleeping
like
and napping and
kids.
drinking, and we don't like doing that around kids. So that's the reason why I don't like to. Okay, so
And it's
just
topless.
I completely get it.
And
Yeah,
that
that makes a
justified.
lot of sense.
We go to the gay beach, but Crystal's like, "You wear these short shorts," which is what Johnny Rico is right now, and I'd be afraid of, getting hit on.
Oh, John.
Because I look so amazing in them.
I mean, all you've got to do is ride him up a little more up your butt, and you'd be just flying high.
Oh,
man.
man. I'll tell you after the podcast a whole other story for a whole other time where I got hit on at the beach.
It wasn't at the gay beach, though.
It was not at the gay beach.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Someone really liked his puffy nipples. His pink nipples.
Someone really liked my puffy pink nipples, but we'll leave that for the extra content for the bonus episodes. How about that?
But yeah, so we get all these, medical personnel walking around Rico's bathtub tank, and they're all in their medical scrubs or their biological scrubs.
Their hazmat uniforms.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, Dizzy and Ace just come in their normal off-duty clothes, just hanging around. And that kind of weirded me out a little bit, too, because you have all these, clean room specialist people around. And then here comes two doofy, MI kids running around, messing up the place.
Well, no, there are officers on the background as well. I think just maybe these people come into contact with the actual medical equipment.
Okay. Yeah, we were discussing earlier in a couple of other minutes how the medical advancements in this movie are really amazing. I mean, the tank itself is pretty awesome. Breckenridge's arm breaking thing was pretty awesome, and Ace's hand as well, too.
Yeah. And I did mention it that the Breckenridge arm in the cast was what I called the Bombadil moment, where it's just going to change the theme of something with something so small because of the medical advancement, that's what ties in this little thing like, oh, guess what? He's alive because medical advancement will keep him alive.
Right.
Oh, that's really insightful because
you
use the Bombadil reference. It's something that's so kind of inconsequential, but ultimately all powerful at the same time, which is medical science in this narrative.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I like that little coinage of a term that he did that. We've actually been using it in our everyday lives now.
I like it. I like it.
Do you like Tom Bombadil? Like in the Lord of the Rings?
That's one thing.
Yeah,
we got to ask that too.
I really do.
I really like him. But he's so uninterested in everything that's happening.
Well, that's exactly it.
He's so above everything.
He could be a Deus Ex Machina, but he literally does not give one bull poopy about anything that's going on around his life. He could fix everything in 2 seconds, but he doesn't. But he's this powerful, cool, and I understand why they don't have him in the movies, but he's just this cool dude that can do anything.
I mean, there was this whole narrative, not narrative, there's this whole tangent on what would have happened if they just gave the ring to Tom Bombadil.
And he can teleport.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I actually hated the Tom Bombadil story because I thought he made no sense.
Well,
did you read the book before you saw the movie?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
I read it. I read the book in high school.
He was a character that Tolkien made up for his kids. So to me, it's like as a reader that's trying to take in this massive story, this massive narrative, it doesn't make sense. But I think he put it in there as just an homage to his children, being like,
okay,
here's my legacy to you. Here's something that will. Here's something that's from your childhood that will live longer, way longer than me. And maybe I think it doesn't need to make any sense. It's just for his children.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get that. I can get behind that.
It's interesting because maybe that's what I felt when I was reading it. But I always felt more of a connection to Tom Bombadil than I did a lot of the other characters, a lot of the main characters in Lord of the Rings. Because I thought he was like this cool, like, dad that was kind of looking out for everything, but then wasn't always there. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
But I always, it's just, it felt like a real character in real life where you you see this person that can be helpful to you, and then they're not when you absolutely need them, but they're still kind of there. I don't know.
So you're like, he's the dad in Talladega Nights? Like he's going to teach him how to drive again? And he sells the tickets that have been waiting for him at the box office?
Yes.
I don't know. It's just after reading it, and like they're like, okay, let's go along. Bye, Tom. And he's like, bye, kids. And I was just like, why did I read this part?
I've been also under the assumption that Tom Bombadil was pretty much the whole binary galaxy in that Futurama episode where Bender becomes God. Basically, you know, if you don't do any, if you do it right, no one will know that you've done anything right at all, kind of thing.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, so the two goofy, doofy kids come up and try to wake Rico up with his Federal Service notification of death, killed in action. He's dead.
I love this part. It's
So do
the
I.
first time you like really feel
Like you're a grunt with the rest of the guys.
all these people are, you know, they're trying to live life, not like the best they can, but like literally just live their lives. And something like this happens, and they all think it's the funniest, fun thing in the world. And this Johnny Rico is literally seconds from death when he gets put in this tank, and then they come in and they're just like laughing and smiling and pointing, and then they're like, you're out in 3 days, we're gonna have so much fun. And it's so lighthearted, and it's like the lightest part of the movie besides before any crap goes down.
When you think about it, it's actually a really almost freeing way to live, because like try to put your head into these grunts' minds for just a second. Most of them don't necessarily want to be there, but they have to be there. And so because they have to be there, they have to deal with, not because of their choice, but they have to deal with death as an everyday thing. And this is pretty typical for every soldier in any war, but particularly for this one, death is, and gruesome death is on a particularly high level. So getting official KIA paperwork is like, look at this guy, look at this Megalobagoo guy. Death is such an everyday thing. They have to laugh at it. You know, they have to laugh at it.
Yeah.
So,
but that makes it so real.
That
and it's
exactly,
so fun.
exactly. That's what makes it so relatable.
So nice.
And every guy wanted a girl like Diz.
Diz.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Every
I
guy-
wanted a girl like Diz.
You're my Diz.
I'm your Diz.
You're my
Aw.
Diz.
That's so sweet.
You liked me even though I didn't even know that I deserved how much you liked me.
No, you're my Diz.
Yeah, I'm your Diz.
One thing, actually, I liked Johann's idea. He brought this up, I think, off mic, but he had a theory about why Rico is going to probably get out of there in less than 3 days. Johann, do you want to take that?
No, I completely forgot my theory. If
Okay.
you remember what it is, go for it.
I definitely remember. Okay. So Johann had a theory, and I kind of subscribed to it a little bit. I think he was joking at first, but Dizzy does say 3 days. I think he gets out a
that
little
theory.
more.
That theory.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to take over again?
Okay. So medical advancement, like, goes to a certain point, obviously, because they can time when he'll be coming out of this bath bomb. And it wasn't until, like, all of a sudden he's out of there in a couple moments, and it's because of the advancement of Diz's kiss on the side of the tank. So there's a little bit of that power of love that gets him out of there.
Yeah.
Like he was joking about it at first and saying, "Oh, you know, that's definitely a thing because it'd get me out of there faster because we're just in love with Dizzy, Dina Meyer so much. I follow her on Instagram, Twitter, and she's, you know, dancing in her underwear and everything on there, still looking amazing. But I mean, I subscribe to it a little more now just because it's like a mind over matter thing. Like, he has something, you know, he's dead, but he still has someone who feels something for him, who loves him, and he wants to get out and see her as fast as possible, kind of thing.
Yeah. I just want you to know that as soon as you said you follow her on Twitter and she's dancing in underwear, I start searching on the internet for it, and I look over and John is doing The exact same thing.
Yes! She is amazing.
We both Google searched Starship Troopers cast, looked up the actress's name that we knew, clicked on it, copy and pasted it into the thing to get to her Twitter, and we got there at the same exact time.
While Crystal's talking, I'm scrolling.
She looks amazing.
She has aged incredibly well.
I mean, honestly, they all have. I mean, Casper Van Dien is an amazing looking man as well too. Right now, he's even more square jawed with his wife and everything. He's so good looking, and of course, Mr. Doogie Howser as well too. He looks great as well.
I think he looks better now than he did before.
Oh, distinguished.
And then Jake Busey became like this off-roading kick butt kind of guy.
Yeah. He really did.
So everybody seems to have paced themselves pretty well. I know we're missing someone, but that's okay. Oh, Xander. Xander turned out pretty well. Patrick Muldoon. And I think that's it.
He honestly, I hate to say this because he looked old in this movie. I mean, one of our past episodes, John and I talked about his laugh lines and everything. But, I mean, he kind of looks the same as he did in this movie a little bit. A little more laugh lines.
Yeah, it's like he aged... It's like he aged incredibly quickly when he was younger, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, this is where it ends for you. This is where you stop aging. And he's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's like Keanu time. You know, he stops at a certain point.
Yeah, Matthew, you're correct. Her Instagram is quite hot.
Yes.
I'm showing Crystal one of her pictures right now. I'm like, honey, can this be my Hollywood pass? You know, everyone gets a free fantasy pass that's obviously unattainable, but
Well, yeah. Hey, guys, what are you Hollywood passes?
Hers is Harrison Ford
Indiana
from
Jones.
the 70s.
Just Indiana Jones.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who my current I really am only into fictional characters, which is why I like John because he's a cartoon. But it's hard for me to think of. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that. This isn't the solidified. Like, if I don't say right now, that doesn't mean I don't get one, right?
No, you can definitely come back and I can.
Hers is Anthony Batista.
Ooh.
Okay. I won't say no to that.
He's
Alan Tudyk.
He's a good hunk of man. Yeah. Oh, okay.
There you go.
He might be my number one.
Yep.
Wait, who is that?
Alan Tudyk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Alan
From like
Tudyk
anything.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Even him with red hair would be like awesome.
Oh, I love him. But I don't want him to know because I just want him to be my friend.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about yours, Johann?
Mine saddens me.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I thought like it wasn't one of those like this is obtainable, but I thought I could dream about it forever or think about it forever. But it was David Bowie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I'm not gay, but neither is David Bowie.
But he would be okay with it.
Yeah, because if David Bowie were to come up to me and says, "You, sir," right on the lips, and I'd be like, "Yes, Mr. Alden Zane, I will."
Right on the left,
Like-
right?
Yeah, who wouldn't? Like
The power
really?
of voodoo.
Yeah, it's David Bowie, and then he passed away, and I was just like, "Oh my god."
Man, you could still make that work.
Yeah,
Just get a
but
shovel.
in many ways that would be illegal before I even get to the act. But
Man, if you got a dream, you got to attain it. Just do it.
all right, you made me believe, Matt. I believe in myself. I'm going to Home Depot tomorrow.
All right. I'll come with you. We'll rent a backhoe.
All right, sweet.
John, what was yours before Dina Meyer?
Mine before Dina Meyer was Angelina Jolie in the movie Hackers and not beyond that.
Ooh.
All right.
What about
Okay.
Shaved
Amy
head
Sedaris?
Angelina
That's
Jolie.
who you've told me.
Oh, okay. Amy Sedaris would kick the shit out of Angelina Jolie. So
His number one is Amy Sedaris. He's told me that
Amy
a couple
Sedaris,
times.
yes.
And every time he says that, I go, but she's blonde. Because I feel bad about myself.
Oh.
Because I'm not blonde. I'm
Oh.
brunette.
How about this? I get Amy Sedaris, but then you get to kick the get to kick her butt afterwards.
No, I get to have sex with her after.
Okay. Okay. Okay, deal.
That'd just be funny. Like, in comes Crystal, and then Amy Sedaris is like, and then she's like, "No, you're mine now." And then
She'd be like, "Oh, thank God."
And mine for the longest time, especially before I grew up into a man that I am today, was Jennifer Connelly in The Rocketeer.
All right,
Ooh.
yeah.
And then
I can see
nowadays
that.
it's Clive Owen.
Yeah.
And then it's always been Jennifer Connelly in this movie and Jennifer Connelly in that movie because she hasn't aged. So
Yeah. But right now, if it's anyone, it's Clive Owen.
all right.
See,
But then,
mine are
yeah, I
all
will.
book characters. Like most of the men that I'm like, oh my God, are characters that I've read in books. I get to imagine them perfectly to what I want.
Yeah, okay. Like Paul Atreides sounds kind of good looking real quick right now.
Yeah.
Like not miniseries Paul and not movie Paul, but just in my mind book Paul before he gets all crazy, God Emperor of Dune kind of thing. But right when he just starts, hanging out with the Fremen and everything. Oh gosh, yeah, he sounds good.
All right. So we were trying to say no tangents this time.
I know.
Oh well. But yeah, 3 days and he's out. We assume 3 days pass because the music up tempos a little bit, and we get a nice view of a few more federal Corvettes. Scene change.
Actually, I wanted to drop a little note. Before that scene change, after Diz and Ace leaves, there was a reveal in the script that Verhoeven decided to keep out. When Johnny's still a little bit lucid in this awakened state, there is a tap on the side of this tank of a metallic hand, and Razchik waves to him.
Ooh.
So in the script, at first you see the hand that says like "grab my hand," and then it's going to be revealed at this point whose hand that belonged to before they actually join the group.
Oh, I like that a lot. I actually like that reveal more than the previous reveal.
They should have kept that in.
Yeah.
That one would have been okay. The other previous reveal would have been right before everything goes black. The metallic hand comes and says, "Come with me," or not "come with me if you want to live," but
It doesn't even have to be a reveal. It can be.
Yeah.
How about this? They Diz leaves after the kiss, and then you just see a metallic can knock on the window. Rico notices, and then cut away, and it's not a reveal; it's a tease.
Yeah,
ooh.
It could have been. Yeah, but that was what was in the script, and that was just taken out to be revealed in the next, I think, 3 minutes from now.
Yes, that's coming up. But yeah, so we get another view of the Corvettes, and we get a nice top-down view of a modified Corvette that has the Thunderbolt launching pads on top of them.
They do establish a location here, but I don't quite know where it is. But it's no longer around Saturn where the Ticonderoga is.
No, we're actually coming into, I believe it is Tango Urilla.
Yeah, because there's two suns.
I was about to say, I see two suns there. We're not in the solar system.
No,
we're definitely not. So Klendathu is the system, and Klendathu Prime, I believe, I don't think they call it Klendathu Prime, but it's Klendathu is the main bug planet, and we're in outer Klendathu, which is outer planets, which is, this one is Tango Urilla.
Yeah, but this is the first time they've made an establishing shot other than when they showed Jupiter.
Oh, they did a couple other establishing ones, like in the last minute or one of the last minutes, they had a planet behind the Ticonderoga and a couple planets other.
I saw the planet and the moon that circled it, but it's not really clear where you're at. But then once you see two suns, then it's kind of a little bit more affirming that you're not even in the same solar system that Buenos Aires was in.
Yes, we're in a binary solar system. This is awesome.
Yep.
That's so cool.
I love binaries.
Me too.
1-0.
Yeah. But this scene really brings back a lot of memories. I'm at 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 54 seconds. All those Thunderbolts just bring me back because the one and only toy I had from this movie that my mom allowed me to have because she knew what kind of movie it was a Thunderbolt. and it was a
Wow.
little toy that had the two people in it. You could squeeze the back tail fins and two missiles would pop out. But it was such a cool little plane, and I absolutely just flew that around everywhere, crashed into things,
Oh, that's
buried it
awesome.
in the sand. Yeah, it was a cool toy. Johann had another toy as well too, but that comes up in another minute.
Yeah, much
Oh,
later.
wow. I didn't even know this was a toy.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
they had a ton of toys.
I'm just looking at it now, and this looks awesome. It looks like a modified sand speeder or A-wing or something like that.
Yeah. And that's what I loved about it too. I mean, like there was nothing really big on these toys or these ships in the film. Maybe like 3 times you actually see them. The most prominent one is when they glass Planet P, or they do the bomb run on Planet P, and that's it. You don't see them anywhere else. Besides, right now, and the drop of Clendathu as well too, but. Other than that, they're not very prominent, but heck, toy sales, man.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, there were tons of toys for this movie as well, too. I mean, you got the whole entire weird stuff that didn't happen in the movie. So, like, Ace had, like, a jetpack. Dizzy had, like, a claw thing that would, like, grab bugs. It was, the whole entire thing that companies used to do to at least get a bit of money off of a rated R movie that had tons of gore and boobies.
Yeah, I wonder if they just created like shower scene Starship Troopers and how many of that would have sold.
Ooh, I would have bought that because I loved the car wash, my Hot Wheels car wash, and a Starship Troopers car wash or body wash would have been amazing.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I got to do as well too before we finish out this minute, because that's really where we're ending it. That's really where that minute ends.
A shower?
Unless anyone else? No, unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean, we can all take a shower together real quick if you guys want. It's not, my shower's not big enough, but
Yes,
I mean, we
please.
can take turns. All right. But do you guys have anything else you want to talk about this particular minute at all?
No,
Nope.
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, I got to ask both you and John one more question, and we ask this again for every one of our guests that have come on. Because I saw this in the theater, and it was a kind of a driving moment for me. It was pretty much one of my first booby scenes, where you first see your first on-screen nudity. And what was your guys' first on-screen nudity?
Oh, man.
Braveheart
Ooh,
with the ski slope
okay.
titties.
Oh, mine
yeah,
was...
classy
Her
one.
boobs were. I remember seeing her boobs, and then looking at mine and being like, "Is that what they're gonna look like when they become boobs?" And there's nothing wrong with. There's so many different types of boobs, but that was just one where I was like, I couldn't picture mine growing into that shape, and they didn't. They're like a teardrop. I don't know what they are. They're sad as I am.
Tell me more, Crystal.
So is that why you referenced Teardrop? Is because you felt so sad about it?
I was sad. I was like, oh no. But I think that was my first. That and my first sex scene was Jerry Maguire.
Okay.
Okay.
What about yours, John?
There's probably ones before this, but the only one that I can name specifically was when I was very young, and my parents recorded a sort of ski bum type of movie that a lot of shows make fun of now. It was called Hot Dog. You guys ever see that movie, Hot Dog?
No,
It's more or less this guy where he goes to ski in this championship and he battles this like German guy. Germany takes his girl. And there are multiple sex scenes in the movie where the women get naked and show their boobs and their bottoms, and it only stands out in my mind because one of the sex scenes was set to the music "Hungry Like the Wolf" by Duran Duran.
I'm looking at IMDb, and this movie looks so familiar.
It's every 1980s ski trope movie piled into one. It's like, they have it's good guy versus bad guy, and they have to have like a ski off in the end to settle who's the better guy. But in the very end, they have like this downhill race where it's, I can't even remember what it's called, but it's like Super Rumble, where no rules, anything goes. So you have dudes like attaching weapons and stuff to their skis and their poles, and dudes putting these crazy helmets on to put smoke screens behind them, and the main character is just, he wears a helmet and pads, but he doesn't have like offensive weapons. He's just gonna rely on his speed and dexterity to get him through the race, and the bad guy is like a super bad guy with his German Kaiser helmet and stuff. It is a incredible movie, and it captures the time, I think, perfectly.
So it's like Death Race or Rollerball, but on skis. That sounds awesome.
Yes.
Oh,
it is rated R,
man.
so it is rated R. But if you've seen Starship Troopers, it's the amount of rated R that Starship Troopers is rated R. How about that?
All right. Gosh, I gotta check this movie out now.
Hot Dog.
Well, guys, that's going to be it for us then. Johann, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch and Instagram at JDASHD26. You can also find me on Twitter at OMG It's Johann.
And John Robert Crystal, where can we find you guys?
You can find us on iTunes under the podcasts The Fifth Eleminute, which is a podcast just like this one, except we do it with The Fifth Element. Or Unlimited Lives Radio, which is a podcast where we talk about video games. You can find those on iTunes, like I said. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier this week is there's a podcast called Mission to Zix, ZYXX, which is more or less a science fiction podcast. If you've listened to Adventure Zone, it's kind of like that, where it's an improvised sci-fi podcast. But I'm actually a guest on the fourth episode of the first season, where I play a character called the Grower Mind, which is more or less a direct ripoff of the bug race here in Starship Troopers, where it's more or less a combination of the bug race in Starship Troopers and the Overmind from StarCraft. So check that out too. It was actually featured on iTunes this past week.
Oh, rad.
Fantastic.
Mission to Zix, ZYX. Actually, Paul F. Tompkins was a guest on it too. What the F?
John is a famous amongst friends.
What
It's
the
amazing.
F? I know. I'm like so every day I see this podcast doing new stuff. I'm just like so happy to be a part of it. Anyway, check it out.
Fantastic.
And I'm Crystal.
Yeah,
I don't do anything.
Crystal is on has guested on almost every single Movies by Minutes podcast. Some would call her the Movies by Minutes maven, if you will. The Movies by Minutes maven.
I was calling her the queen of the Movies by Minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we reference her on the show.
Thank you. It's no Paul F. Tompkins, but I like what I do. And if you go to moviesbyminutes.com, you can listen to every one of the podcasts and maybe hear me every once in a while contributing to these wonderful humans doing the most fun podcast genre ever. And you can follow me on social media at the Crystal Beth. And if you just Google Crystal Beth, stuff comes up that may be of interest to you, maybe not. And yeah, that's what I do. It's fun stuff. Everything John does, I do, but less excitingly.
And you guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere on the internet. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I haven't been streaming too much, but I usually stream Fallout, Kerbal Space Program, or what I've been playing recently, Assassin's Creed Origins. That's always a fun one. But you can also find us on Twitter at the Roughneck Min, M-I-N. You can also go to our Facebook group, the Roughneck Minute Billet, to continue the conversation and talk about, I don't know, other planets in the Klendathu system like Planet P or Tango Urilla. That's always fun stuff as well, too. You can also go to our website, theroughneckminute.podbean.com, for any past episodes or show notes. And you can also find us on Google Play, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, any other podcatcher like that. Please rate and review us on iTunes, on all that other stuff as well, too. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. Guys, John, Robert, Crystal, thank you guys so much for being on the show.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah. But I've been one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I've been your other host, Johann.
And I've been John Robert Wilson.
And Crystal Beth.
And we'll see you on the bounce, troopers.